Hi, I'm Joss.
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And this is the Lutz Get Down to Business podcast.
We're two cousins on opposite ends of the globe with a lot of opinions about figure skating. And we're here to deliver the news, recaps, and talk about how it was down to Mr. Georgia Mauricio Kvitilashvili to represent the Tuperitsa group and rep the team he did. Hey Joss, how are you?
I am exhausted. It is almost Thanksgiving week here in the States, and it has also been a very busy week in figure skating. So I guess to start off, we in our last episode said that we were going to cover the Warsaw Cup, but unfortunately the Warsaw Cup was at the very last minute canceled, which we are very sad about. So no coverage on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, there were a lot of cool skaters that we wanted to see and like something different as well, but instead, we got Las Vegas Invitational, and I know you watched that, and we will have some words in a future episode about them.
Yes, it was a very interesting event. It was honestly just kind of like a fun little thing. I was just really happy to see, I guess, mostly American skaters get just another opportunity to get competition ice under their feet. It was like Team Tara versus Team Johnny, and of course, they gave them high praise for being their quote-unquote coaches, but I guess that's just an NBC staple. We should just come to expect that. But overall, I think it was really fun, and I hope you can find the videos and that you're not geo-blocked, because I hate that shit.
That's what VPNs are for. But yes, it was an incredibly packed week for skating, and it pretty much culminated in a huge Rostelecom Cup event. And just like we did for Skate America and previous like Russian test skate event, we are going to split it in two. We are first going to talk about men and ice dance this episode, and next episode we'll be talking about the pairs and the ladies.
Yes, we will. So I guess just kind of like general thoughts about Rostelecom this weekend. First of all, okay. I have to let you know that the DJ was hardcore bumping Taylor Swift's 1989 for the warm-up song for everyone's free programs. Well, okay, so everyone's free programs besides ladies. My Peacock was acting up, so I had to fast forward it through the first little bit of ladies.
Your Peacock was acting up. Sorry.
My Peacock Premium. Okay, folks, for those of you that do not know this, Americans watch figure skating on this app called Peacock Premium. Not like my pet peacock that I just like casually have at home. My pet peacock, Melvin, was acting up, so I had to put him in his cage, and so I could watch ladies. No, that's not true. My app was acting up, so I had to fast forward through the first little bit of ladies.
Maybe we should change our intro song to Peacock by Katy Perry.
Peacock by Katy Perry. Petition to change the intro song to Peacock by Katy Perry. But anyways, what I was saying was All You Had to Do Was Stay, which is my #1 underrated song on 1989, was the first warm-up song for free dance, men's free skate, and pairs free skate. So I was very pleased about that. We also heard Style, Out of the Woods, and various other songs when the skaters were coming off the ice and getting into the kiss and cry. So I was very happy, Swiftie.
Look, 1989 has some pretty good bangers in them, so like, I didn't mind at all.
No, we did not mind. Something else that we did not mind is the sponsorship by, so you know in the kiss and cry, there was just like this tower of like tinfoil wrapped silver cylinders, and I was like, what are those? They are actually ice cream bars, which was discovered by Edges of Glory and Ice Tea Podcast on Twitter. Shout out to buddies. Hey. But they are actually vividly colored ice cream bars, which include a unicorn, Christmas trees, and various fruits, which I thought was very pleasant.
Oh, that's cute. I feel like, though, it was less subtle than the Cup of China Shiseido sponsorship. And so I was like left slightly disappointed that it wasn't more like in your face.
Hey, at least it was COVID safe, okay? The ice cream bars were individually wrapped. Unlike in the last episode, we talked about how Hong Yi Chen used this communal pressed powder that was just like sitting in the kiss and cry, put it on her face, and then put it back. So I'm just glad that these ice cream bars are individually wrapped, even though everyone's nose was sticking out in the audience. You know, something has to be COVID safe.
But also, that compact powder was used by, like, I can't remember which dance team it was, but they used it, and I was just like, Oh, okay.
Hope it's not the same one.
Probably is. But yeah, I mean, Shiseido had, the communal compact powder, and Russia just had chin masks.
Communal COVID.
Communal COVID.
Communal COVID.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get stuck into it. We're going to start off with ice dance.
Yeah, I think just like a general note about this whole event, there were definitely more non-Russian teams here, but I really feel that there was a combination of lowballing the non-Russians in their scores and highballing the Russians. We'll get into all of this later.
Highballing the Russians in Russia. Who would have
thought all Russian judges highballing Russians, right? I mean, like, did we expect it? Yes. But also, will we talk about it? Yes. So why don't we start with our first team?
Yes, let's start with Alison Reed and Salius Ambrulevicius. Ooh, I had okay, pause. It took me about 5 minutes to get Salius's name down. So I'm really proud that I did it on the first take. Hallelujah. Okay. Anyway, they represent Salius's Lithuania. And before we get into anything, obviously, I'm starting off with ISU Bio Hobbies. And I'm going to say, I'm so glad that Alison just listen to this. Her ISU Bio Hobbies are riding roller coasters, Netflix, and late night pizza. We can be friends, Alison. We can definitely be friends.
Oh my gosh, late night pizza. This is great.
The specificity, it's so great. And Salius's is music and traveling. So,
oh,
yeah,
that's a letdown.
We've got some work to do there. But this was Alison's first competitive outing since the unfortunate passing of her brother Chris Reed, and you could definitely tell the emotions were flooding her, especially after the rhythm dance. Their rhythm dance was to music from the original cast recording of Bandstand, and I don't know, for me it was just really, really nice to see them out and to see Alison competing, because yeah, we all know how tough a year it has been for her, especially her and Kathy and that whole Reed family.
I totally agree. Apart from the skating, which, yes, the Twizzles were looking a little bit rough. They weren't totally in sync, mostly from Salius. But anyways, it has just been a really kind of tough year, and just kind of seeing the emotions and seeing her just burst into tears after the program. I cried. It was just such a huge moment for her, and I was like, I don't care if you slid across the ice on your butt, you're on the ice. It's amazing.
Oh, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah. You cried, I had allergies, same.
But fortunately it was a very good outing for them in general.
Yeah, and he was so supportive of her afterwards. It was just all really, really nice. Their free dance was to a bunch of songs by Aurora, and let me tell you, I stand the music choice so hard. I love Aurora. They skated to Churchyard, It Happened Quiet, and Soft Universe. I really like their selection of songs, and I feel like their choreography was really well matched to it and connected to it. I don't know, it was really, really nice.
Yeah, I think the free dance is where they really shined. The rhythm dance was, like I was saying, a little bit rough, but the free dance, they had beautiful flow across the ice. The positions and their lifts were gorgeous. Again, like you were saying, the choreography is so well connected to the song choices, which we've definitely complained about in previous episodes with other teams.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but generally, this is just such a nice free dance, and especially for them, I really enjoyed everything about what they put out there this weekend.
Exactly. Just very, very happy for them both. Alison, Salius, we love you, and we are so glad that you were able to compete at Rostelecom Cup this weekend. Okay, let's move on to Annabelle Morozov and Andre Bargin. So their ISU Bio Hobbies, not as nice and specific as Alison's, but hers are reading, dancing, and singing, and his is basketball, music, and reading.
This is so dry compared to Alison's. Can Alison Reed write everyone's ISU bios?
Oh, you know what? How about Kathy interviews everyone and redoes their bios in Alison style? I'd be there for it.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Annabelle and Andre's rhythm dance was to a mashup of things that I was like, okay, I'd rather you stick to like one theme. But they started off with Funny Honey from Chicago. It went into Sing Sing Sing, the Louis Prima song, and then it finished with It Don't Mean a Thing. If it ain't got that swing. And I love all those songs individually, but I'm like, why didn't you just stick with Chicago? Like, we haven't really seen that many Chicago rhythm dances, have we?
We have not. And it was also like a lot of songs in the rhythm dance. That's like one of my pet peeves is like 5 million songs in the rhythm dance. We don't need that many songs.
But like, I get for ice dance, you need the tempo changes and all of that stuff. So I get it. But like, keep it to like one theme. Like,
Yes,
you can have
exactly.
multiple songs from like the same soundtrack or something. Like, I get that. But like, okay. Anyway, it was so funny because you could see Annabelle lip syncing the start, and I'm like, fair enough, it's Chicago. But she dropped a level in the Twizzles. He got level 4, she got level 3, and their key points, they hit a no, yes, no, yes. So yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was funky. Yeah, what did you think?
I think it's really interesting because, the thing that I put down here is that what I disliked the most about the rhythm dance is that afterwards, when they were moving into the kiss and cry, their coach removed his mask to kiss her on the cheek. I was like, this is not COVID safe, 5 exclamation marks.
But like, it's her dad, so like, bubble?
Sure, but I mean, why would you take your mask off?
Girl, did you see Alexei Mishin? Talk about taking masks off.
Yes. But yeah, I think I generally liked the rhythm dance, but I thought it was really interesting just their mini battle with Lisa and Igor. They were just back and forth with, okay, so this is how it broke down. So in the rhythm dance, Lisa and Igor had 41.82 TES and 34.28 PCS. And then Annabelle and Andre, they had 41.25 TES and 34.96 PCS. So
very close.
Yes, extremely close.
Yeah, I think what Lisa and Igor, so that's Elizaveta Hudayberdieva and Igor Barzin, what they lost out on in the rhythm dance was their key points. They only hit 1. And I was like, they really need to improve here if they want to make the push for Russia's top teams and like end up on top over Annabelle and Andre, who are their main competition. So yeah, I mean, if they got an extra key point, that would have given them an extra like 1.49 base points, which would have seen them go ahead of Morozov and Bargain in the rhythm dance. So, I mean, it was very, very tight. And, you know, I think from the rhythm dance, it was fair. It was fair because they were pretty evenly matched.
Yeah. And then, however, in the free dance, I mean, we'll talk about Lisa and Igor in a little bit, but they really pushed forward with their TES, their technical score. In the free dance, they scored a 64.88, whereas Annabelle and Andre scored a 62.17. So there was a 2.7-ish point difference there in their TES for the free dance. So they eventually, Annabelle and Andre ended up being 5th, and then Lisa and Igor ended up being 4th.
Yeah, and I think due to the strength of Lisa and Igor's free dance, I think that was the right call. Because for Annabelle and Andre, and like we've said this before, at least me personally, I don't really feel their free dance much. It's like there's a lot of hard-hitting music, but it just doesn't grab me. Like, everything's flashy, but it doesn't grab me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's missing some kind of connection. I wrote down that there was not really a lot of feeling that I was getting from it. I think their Twizzles were also not the greatest. They weren't perfectly in sync. However, they did receive positive GOEs on all of them. Interesting. Very, very all Russian judges with Russian team. But yeah, I think that I can definitely see why Lisa and Igor surged ahead in the free dance.
Yeah, so how about let's just get stuck into Lisa and Igor. So let's start off with their ICU by hobbies. She's got dancing, music, and figure skating. I mean,
figure skating.
A figure skater whose hobby is figure skating. Like, sure, I'll pay that, definitely. And Igor listed Dota 2, so that's a MOBA video game, snowboarding, and traveling. So, like, okay, I'll take that. That's not bland.
Oh my god. So quick note on Dota 2 here. My husband used to play Dota 2 when we first started dating, and I was in a very intense grad school program when we first started dating. And when you play Dota 2, it involves you clicking your mouse like very, very quickly in rapid succession. And I was studying, and it would be literally the most annoying noise I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, can you just stop playing that game? It is so irritating. So, Igor, I hope that there is no one in very intense graduate studies in your house while you were playing Dota 2.
Anyway, so... Their rhythm dance was to the artist soundtrack and Sing Sing Sing. Now, like, don't get me wrong, I love Sing Sing Sing, but like, stick to one theme. But although like this was a bit more blended than Annabelle and Andre's, because Sing 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 had the same kind of vibe as the music from the artist soundtrack that Lisa and Igor used. Like I said before, they only hit one key point. It was a no, no, yes, no. But they did get level 4 twizzles. Yeah, I just really, really like them. I think they're great together. And yeah, I want them to improve in their fin step.
Yes. Same though. I thought it was really cute because at the very end of their rhythm dance, Lisa did not like wave to the judges and give them like, you know, a general send off, but she gave them kind of just like a knowing glance. And I was like, you give those judges a knowing glance.
She is such a little performer, that one.
I love her. Love her. And then so their free dance was to The Experience. And I'm mildly confused about kind of what the theme or the story behind their free dance is supposed to be. So let me tell you what I think it's supposed to be. You can tell me.
All right, I'm really excited about this, to be honest.
So I think that this is supposed to be like an elderly couple that's kind of like reminiscing about their lives, because I noticed that so she doesn't have gray or silver hair like naturally, but on the sides of her hair by her temples, she had the rest of her hair pulled back. There was some gray or silver in her hair, but I noticed that Igor had less gray or silver in his hair. Like I think it was just not quite as obvious as Lisa's, or I'm not really quite sure. But anyways, so the free dance begins with them doing some shaking or tremor like movements. I was like, does this indicate that you might be elderly? I'm not really quite sure what this is supposed to indicate, but this is the vibe that I'm getting from it. Please correct me if I'm wrong about this.
No, I think you're correct. They said that they start out as an old couple and then they reminisce on their lives, and so it starts from like when they're dating, and they're like in that whole honeymoon period, and then it kind of goes into like you can see when he proposes to her, and then in the middle of the program when the music changes, you can see like she's like cleaning the house and everything, like cleaning the windows, and he's just like drinking and becoming an alcoholic, and she gets mad at him, and then that like resolves, and then they have a baby, and then so it's like kind of like that couple's whole life story, and I think they do it, in my opinion at least, they do it really, really well. Like it's obvious enough, but not like too in your face, although some people might disagree with that. But it's not like too subtle that people are like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. No, I think it's very telling that I didn't like make up some completely ludicrous story, because that tends to be my inclination.
Yeah. Why don't we throw back to the episode where about your theory, Danny G tampering
with
Mariah Bell's music.
Yes. So we could have gotten a ludicrous story like that, but that is just evidence that Lisa and Igor did a great job at actually telling the story that they intended to. So yeah, I think all in all, I love them a lot. I think that it was correct that the judges chose to place them above Annabelle and Andre.
Yeah, I'm just excited for them to develop more and see that, because obviously they're not, right at the top of the Russian teams at the moment, because those spaces are like taken and quite solidly taken. But I feel like they are definitely a couple to kind of just like sit in the background for like this Olympic cycle and then really make a push the next Olympic cycle. I mean, she's 18, he's 25, like they've got time ahead of them. So yeah, I love this free dance and I love them just like you do. So yeah, really glad because they got 4th place at their first Grand Prix event. So, like, decent effort, guys. Decent effort. All right, next we're going to talk about our bronze medalists, Anastasia Skopskova and Kirill Alyoshin. She is 20, he is 23, she is into fashion and psychology, and he is into music and cars.
Music. Sorry. This reminds me of Initial D from last episode.
Music and cars, maybe that's why they chose Bonnie and Clyde soundtrack for their rhythm dance, which I actually really enjoyed. I really, really like this rhythm dance. They skated it really well, I think. I feel like they did Bonnie and Clyde justice. They hit all of their key points. They had great twizzles. What do you think?
I have a couple of just like nitpicky things. I noticed that the red of her headband and her choker are not from the same color family as his costume, and it was really bothering me the entire time.
Oh.
I also...
That's kind of like with Lisa and Eagle's, like, red. Like, it was like a mauvey purple, but hers was like a red. I was just like, it's a little bit of mismatch.
Oh my gosh, yeah, not from the same color family. But also, I feel like maybe it wasn't, like, her costume especially, like, wasn't super Bonnie and Clyde. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like their choreography and what they portrayed was Bonnie and Clyde, but maybe not her costume.
Yeah.
Maybe rethink that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that. But definitely what was on point was the all black costume for their free dance, which was to Never Tear Us Apart. And obviously this is the 50 Shades version.
Yes, it definitely was the 50 Shades version.
Look, you know what? I like Bishop Briggs. I think she's awesome. But I don't know. This didn't grab me as much as the rhythm dance did. But, like, they're a strong team and, you know, they've got a good base. So, and they've got performative quality. So, like, it was fine for me.
I think that there were, like, some bobbles and bumps here and there on some elements. I also put down that the sliding element really kind of lacked speed towards the end. I was like, are they going to come to a stop? Are they not going to come to a stop? But they did.
But they just don't want anything to tear them apart. Sorry.
They just don't want anything to tear them
I think I said, like, tear the mess apart.
But I also think that the costume of hers was very, very literal. Like, I was like, if you put them in front of me and gave me 3 guesses as to what their free dance would be, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's a 50 Shades free dance.
True that.
For sure.
So they won Junior Worlds a couple of seasons ago. So it's nice to see them up in the senior ranks and doing well. And I don't know, for me, they perform well, you know, and they hit all of the accents and the music really well, but I don't feel much of a connection between the two, or at least it wasn't, like, so much there that it, you know, really pulled me in.
Yeah, and I think that, like, if you're going to be doing a 50 Shades soundtrack program, like, you better have some sort of connection. Like, I do not want to see a flat connection 50 Shades soundtrack free dance, but...
We already had that in the movie, so, like, we don't need to see it again.
We already had that in the movie. We don't need it again. But, like... Yeah, like, I just didn't really feel much of a connection between them. Like, everything was set up for them to perform this with, like, a lot of feeling, but I didn't really get that.
Yeah, it was very individual feeling. I felt like...
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, togetherness. Anyway, all right, we're going to move on to Tiffany Zahorsky and Jonathan Guerrero, our silver medalists for the event. Her ISU bio hobbies are dancing, swimming, and walking. Very active. And Jonathan, you just listed one thing. Traveling. That's just disappointing. Jonathan, come on.
Hey, at least it wasn't figure skating.
Anyway, they showed their programs to The Greatest Showman and Survivor, and we saw those last season and in the test skates. What did you think about their outing this time?
I'm still not totally convinced about the 18 million songs that they chose from the Greatest Showman soundtrack. They do choose different songs than typical Greatest Showman programs, which I'm happy about. But their opening was a little rough. I was like, ooh, what's this going to be like? But eventually they pulled it together. The judges did give them level 4s across the board. Not sure I would have done that. But again, totally Russian judges with a Russian pair, so I can see why. Just saying, not sure I would have 100% agreed with them.
Yeah, I think it's a strong rhythm dance. I mean, they had level 4 twizzles. They hit all their key points. Although, like, initially they called it as, like, only hitting 3. So, like, but But yeah, like you said, I still hate that cut in the music at the beginning. It's just weird. Yeah, anyway, their free dance though was to Survivor, and gosh, that is punchy.
Yeah, I really enjoy this free dance. I think I think they do it really well. I think it matches their energy really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like the choreo. I think that all in all, it was a great free dance. I think it just wasn't enough to catch Sиницина and Kатsalapov. It just wasn't enough. But I really enjoyed everything.
Look, I don't think anyone can catch those two, including Gabby and Guillaume, because like RusFed is just like pushing them real hard.
Yes, yeah.
So how about we get stuck into the discussion about Sиницина and Kатsalapov, because there's a lot to say. I mean, okay, let's start off easy, shall we? Let's start off with their hobbies. Hers is design, music, art, reading, and movies. Which, like, okay,
all right,
sure,
I'll vibe with that.
Get ready for his, right?
Oh, gosh. Sports,
music, and cybersports.
Oh, I don't appreciate that he separates sports and cyber sports, because that indicates that cyber sports are not sports, which they are. It literally has the word sports in it. Nikita, come on. What are you doing here?
I know, right? And then look at Dota. You know, you've got to have a lot of finger muscle for that mouse clicking.
Yeah, please. Cyber sports are sports. You can just indicate sports, like Alexei Pachenko did. Just sports.
Our favorite Alexei Pachenko.
We always have to mention Alexei in every single episode that we do.
That's very true. Will somebody keep a tally for us, will you? So their rhythm dance is to Singing in the Rain. And I really like Victoria's grey dress. It's really beautiful and stuff. But like, Nikita needed to have like a yellow pocket square to, hello, we need an ode to Gene Kelly here.
Yes, please, Nikita.
You're really disappointing us so far.
You're really disappointing us, sir.
But he did not disappoint in the level 4 twizzles, the yes key points. It like their fin step was crisp and all of that. It was really clean, but it wasn't perfect, I noticed, but nonetheless, really, really good. The Russian judges wouldn't have it any other way as well. But 91.13 though. That's what they got for the rhythm dance. Okay. That's 6.5 points ahead of Zahorsky and Guerrero.
Yeah, so to break it down a little bit more, they had 10s across the board for composition.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, they also had a 9.9 for interpretation. I'm like, is this really a 9.9 interpretation of Singing in the Rain? Like, are we really? Is that what we're saying?
It wasn't
here?
A 10.0 for composition.
Yes. I just don't really agree with that. Like,
they got 12 10s in their PCS. 12 10s.
That's a lot of 10s.
For Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
But like this Singing in the Rain, which was like very muted.
Yeah, I think that I have issues with this because like they're basically saying that like this is like the top caliber of number one, like what they can produce as a team, and also like what anyone else that achieves those scores can produce, right? And like we all know that just kind of like watching them, that's not exactly what they're producing. They're very good.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Obviously we know that. They're great. We love them. Amazing. I'm just not sure that these are the scores that I would give them.
Yeah, and I think that's my main issue with it. And I know other people feel the same way. And I think I don't want to speak for them, but I'm going to assume that, you know, the problem is that it's not that Sиницина and Katsalapov don't deserve high scores, because they do. They're good. Like, everyone can see that. But such high scores, like if you're RusFed, if you're gonna push them, like, make it subtle. Like it's no longer subtle, and I think it just irks everybody because, like, what does that do for, number one, Sиницина and Katsalapov's own kind of ego or idea about how they are and how they stand, but everyone else's as well, because I feel like they could be doing such stronger programs than they have this season.
Yeah, I think that also this extends into their free dance. They continued to get, in the free dance, they got 5 10s in their PCS. So this free dance is to Smile and Come Together. It's a Michael Jackson free dance. And just even those 510s, like that one rotational lift that is basically like very similar to the rotational lift in Tessa and Scott's Moulin Rouge. It's just like...
It's the Walmart Kuni lifters.
It's just not there, you know? I just don't think this program with this quality deserves 510s in PCS. Sure, high scores, great, you know? I do enjoy the rest of the program. I think they have great speed across the ice. I think they have a great connection, just not this high of a score, you know?
Yeah. Like, also in general, I'm not really a fan of this free dance because I feel like you can pick much better Michael Jackson songs and, like, I don't know. Like, I appreciate that they used, like, not as popular Michael Jackson medley songs, but it just felt too muted. Like, there wasn't any, I don't know, Michael Jackson character and spunk in them. Like, I don't know. All of their programs just seem very same and muted. And now, I know a lot of people say that also of Gabby and Guillaume, but they're same in terms of, like, lyrical quality. At least it's to different music, like different kinds of music. This all, for Sinitzner and Katsalapov, it all just seems very flat.
Yeah, I don't get, like, this program did not get me super hype, and I'm a person that gets super hype really easily. But this program did not get me super hype. I just think that, like, I really enjoy these two, you know, like, I like them as a team. I enjoy watching them. It just kind of sucks for, like, people who are watching to see them get these scores, and it almost does them a disservice too, because it's kind
100%.
of like, yeah, because all people see now are these big scores, right? And they're kind of like, even now we've been talking about the scores, right? It's kind of like we're not seeing, you know, what's actually happening. All we're seeing is like, oh my gosh, these scores are just like, they're just gigantic.
Yeah, it really sucks because it just takes away from them as a dance team, like all the politicking surrounding them. So, I just hope that next season, which is the Olympic season, they get two really strong programs.
But nevertheless, they were definitely our gold medalists. And I mean, congratulations to them. I think that maybe I would have had them sitting in the gold medal position anyways, just perhaps not with these specific numbers.
Yeah, I completely agree. So anyway, we did miss out on Stepanova and Buchan this competition, which I really, really love Stepanova and Buchan, and I really want to see them up against Sinitzner and Katsalapov and see how much they've improved, because they're really the ones who are really giving the fight to Sinitzner and Katsalapov. So I really wanted to see them. I guess we'll have to wait for Russian nationals, but they're still out because their coaching team had cases of coronavirus, and, you know, it's just COVID everywhere in Russia. And, you know, a whole bunch of things just pretty much made sure that they weren't ready for this competition. So, I mean, I'd rather have them safe rather than sorry. So we miss you, but yeah. Let's talk about men, shall we?
Yes.
Our chaotic men's field. Chaotic Russian men.
Love the chaos of Russian men. I love it.
Oh, me too. I think this was a great event, even though it was so chaotic. But, you know, it gives me my feel of chaos for the week and the month and the year. How about let's start with a guy who didn't do so well in the competition, but we need him as an honorable mention. It is, of course, Artyom Kovalyov, whose ISU bio hobby lists just one thing: reading.
Oh my God, is he me?
Yes, it's you. He's coached by Alexander Volkov and Evgeny Plushenko, and he had a really, like, not great competition, but we need to talk about his costumes.
Oh, yeah. So there was a large costume malfunction in the free skate. His belt had just kind of fallen to pieces.
What was that? I don't think that was him.
It was him. He literally came off the ice and he was, like, fidgeting with his belt. Like, it looked like it was, like, falling apart.
Oh, yes, the flapping belt. I have that in my notes.
Oh, do you? Okay, yes.
Literally.
It was definitely.
Yeah, like the capital god, the flapping belt. His free skate was to Queen medley. But I think only Australians will get this, but when I first saw his Queen Medley costume, I was like, did he steal his shirt from a David Jones gift bag? Or like either he did that or had a chessboard pressed onto his chest. Like, and plus the blue acid wash jeggings.
I do not understand what a David Jones gift bag is, but maybe I'll make a more universal reference. The first thing I thought of was that he was a part of Lightning McQueen's pit crew, assistant to Guido and Luigi. I was like, Lightning McQueen.
David Jones is like, let's just say like Bloomingdale's or like
okay.
It's like it's a department store.
I got you. I got you. But he's
with like a logo that's very similar to Artyom's shirt.
Okay. I understand. But he's ready to just head right into the pit stop and don some working gloves.
Yeah, but he had some pit stop errors in this free skate. Oh, but like, okay, also, I have a note about his short program costume. The rhinestone fake belt. I can't, Joss. The rhinestone fake belt.
Oh, poor Artyom.
I was like, this costume came from Plushenko's costume closet. It was just like tucked away, and Plushenko's just like, have a look in there and see what you can find.
Poor thing. I feel like he has a really nice attitude. He seems like a really nice guy.
He does.
I think that he has a lot of potential. I think that it just wasn't his weekend.
No, it wasn't.
And he needs maybe to rethink the costumes a little bit.
He won't, but like, we think he needs to.
Maybe Lightning McQueen is hiring. Maybe he'll be the only person hiring in 2020 since it is so difficult out there to find jobs now.
We also, apart from a Lightning McQueen appearance, we also had a Weasley family appearance.
Oh.
So it just so happened that Ilya Yablokov and Evgeny Semenenko both skated to Notre Dame de Paris for their free skate. Both of them look like they could be Weasley twins. Although Evgeny Semenenko did much better. He had a wonderfully great free skate, and he actually held top spot for quite some time. He had really nice opening quads, the quad toe and the quad sow, and I think he's a Mission boy. He just had a really great skate in the free, so I was very, very happy for him.
Yeah, he was actually at the end of the short program. He was tied with Makar Ignatov, but he received a higher score for the free skates, so he overall placed higher. So I thought he had really great. This is his first senior season. I was like, this is a pretty good weekend for him.
Yeah, his ISU bio hobbies are very typical of a 17-year-old. They are soccer and computer games.
Oh, so nice. So nice.
So
Love
nice.
it.
I just appreciate, music, reading, and traveling aren't in there. So thanks, Evgeny.
And no sports, nor are there cyber sports.
Yeah, at least he's very specific with like soccer. So
Yes, one sport.
I think Evgeny's got like really nice lines, which kind of go out the window when he exits his jumps. But, he's 17. Like, there's definitely room and time for polish.
He's got time. It's his first senior season.
Yes. All right, let's move on. Congratulations, Evgeny, by the way. Let's move on to one of our favorite young beans, Andrei Mozolyov, whose ISU bio hobbies are unfortunately reading and music, although we both love reading and music.
Reading and music.
He is also part of the Weasley family. He's Mr. Ron Weasley. His short program was to Sadness Part 2 by Enigma, and he had an insane quad flip. It was so cool. So great. But then he follows it up with a quad toe, single toe.
Oh, this is on. Okay, when I saw that on the screen that his music was called Sadness by Enigma, I was like, that is one of the most morose titles I've ever heard in a long time. This is along the same lines as like Sad, Beautiful, Tragic by Taylor Swift from the Red album. But also when I heard the music, I was like, this is music that Shoma Uno would skate to.
Oh my, true.
So true,
and he also
right?
did a quad flip.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just the Russian Shoma.
Russian Shoma. Oh my gosh, we found him.
Yes, we did. His free skate was to the man with the harmonica. And okay, I have to say, his quad toes look too easy.
Oh yeah.
I really like the flow to his skating. Like, even when the jumps aren't all there, which they weren't, unfortunately, in this program, but he's a pleasing skater to watch.
He is. So I was mildly confused about his choreography and the costume choice. I was like, does this go with the music? It kind of looked like he was like in an artist's studio and he only had himself covered with an apron from like the chest down. And his shoulders were just kind of like exposed and they were only using white and red paint. And he just got kind of like splattered. I was like, I don't know what kind of vibe you're going for with the shirt, sir.
Maybe when Nathan Chen's bus shirt was made, he was standing behind it and took all like the excess paint.
The excess paint. And their torsos are exactly the same size. So Nathan absorbed all of the paint and there was no excess in the torso area, just in the shoulders.
Joss measured it. She took out her tape measure and she measured their torso sizes. Speaking of torsos, he's also one of the boys who wore the black sheer undershirt rather than like a white undershirt or like nothing underneath. And I actually kind of like having the black sheer underneath their shirts. I think it's a good look.
I was so distracted by the paintballing going on up top that I didn't notice the black sheer, but I'll take your word for it. But just generally in the free skate, he did pop his flip. However, he did leave a lot of points on the table after that happened, but he recovered really well. I was like, oh, made a mistake, moved on. Love it.
Let's also talk about another... Okay, he doesn't qualify as a young bean anymore because he's 20, but he does qualify as the skater to morose ballad category. And that is Makar Ignatov, whose ISU bio hobbies are cinema and music. Okay, so Makar skated to I Can't Go On Without You by Kaleo for his short program and Je Suis Malade for his free program. And I was like, is Makar the Amber Glenn of Russia? Like, his music titles all fit in the morose ballad category.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, yeah. And he has in his free program to Je Suis Malade, I think he took Adelina Sotnikova's dress when she skated to Je Suis Malade and just like, was just like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to do that. Let's cut off the skirt and put pants on because it's very similar. It's got like the dark blue with like the singular heart over the chest. And I was just like,
oh,
yeah, this is very much Amber Glenn category, which is totally fitting because in his short program and his free program, that quad loop, woo,
yeah,
that looked way too easy.
Very
it's
insane.
Insane. In the short program, like even the technical panel had his quad loop like down as a triple loop at first before they were just like, oh wait, no, why is everyone clapping so hard? It's actually a quad loop. But it was a massive short program. He did his quad loop, he did a quad toe, triple toe, and triple axel. He did all of that, then trips at the start of his step sequence. Thanks, Makar.
Thanks. He also had a pockets moment at the very top of the program.
He did.
We love a pockets moment on this podcast.
Do you reckon Jan Han and him would be really great friends?
Oh my gosh, they can skate to sad things together.
True, and then they can do a show where like their hands are in their pockets the entire time. Okay, did you ever have like, you know, the kids' toys that are like Polly Pockets?
Polly Pockets. They can be Makar and Jan Pockets.
They can be the boy versions of them. That sell a lot. We love pockets here.
They also have something else in common in that they both have like really beautiful carriage and really beautiful lines.
They do.
I really enjoy both of them.
They do.
However, I do think that Makar needs to work on his spins. His spins, especially in the short program, were so slow. Yes. I was like, sir, you need to rotate a little bit more.
He left all the rotation in his quads.
Yeah, he left it all in the quads. I was
like, those spins were a bit hard.
They were a little hard. Like you were saying, the step sequence was also a little bit clumsy. He tripped at the start of it. Some of the choreo was also a little bit clumsy, but like the jumps were beautiful. He just has like a presence about him.
He does. And he's very tall as well, and he exudes even taller energy.
Wow.
Take that how you will. And his free skate to Je Suis Malade. Now, we did comment that at Russian test skates, he looked very, very gassed.
Oh, yes.
So it was great to see that by Rostelecom Cup, he had worked a lot on his conditioning and polish since test skates, which definitely showed because he skated pretty well, apart from him subjecting himself to the curse of the popped flip, but great competition overall for him.
Yeah, with that pop flip, unfortunately, I saw even like before he began the jump, I knew it was bad news. He had no speed or momentum going into the jump. I was like, this is not going to be cute. But he did recover very nicely after with the triple Lutz and the triple loop immediately after it. But unfortunately, he did leave a lot of points on the table because he did pop the flip, and he only had 2 combos. So there were a lot of points that he did leave. He ended up tying with Semenenko, which we said earlier.
It was a very interesting men's free skate. It really was. And we're going to move on to another boy who, like Nikita Katsalapov, left us a little disappointed. And that is Mr. Dmitry Aliev. Oh, Dima.
Oh, sweet Dima.
Sweet Dima.
I mean, number 1, welcome back.
Yay.
Hi.
We missed you at Russian test skates. But, okay, let's get stuck into his short program, which, like we mentioned in a couple of episodes prior, is the same short program as the Olympic season. It's to waltz, masquerade.
Ugh, my fave.
And yes, it's my fave too.
My fave.
But this wasn't a great short program from him.
No, it wasn't. The triple axel was just, I knew that from the takeoff it was just not going to happen.
Yeah, he like completely missed his toe. I also wonder, like, if he bailed out of the quad Lutz at the last minute.
Yes.
Because at the top, he normally does a quad Lutz, but then he changed it to a triple Lutz combo. And I was like, it looked like he was going for a quad Lutz there.
Yeah,
So
I noticed that too. I was like, I wonder. But I did notice that, so we all know that he changed his costume from Olympic season from the red coat to now his green coat. If any of you play Animal Crossing, you will know that there is a red noble coat and also a green noble coat.
Oh my god!
So
Oh my god, Nathan's taken the red noble coat and Dima can have the green noble coat.
Yeah, he just went into Abel's and he bought the green noble coat and the red noble coat, and then he went to the airport and then he sent it to Nathan for 200 bells.
Oh.
And he kept the green one for himself.
No. Okay, no, the actual story is that Nathan went into Abel's, bought the red noble coat, then was like, Dima's skating to Waltz Masquerade. I'm going to send it to him. And then Dima's going to send it back. Like traveling Sisters of the Traveling Pants. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Traveling
Sisterhood of the Traveling
Sister Pants?
Oh my gosh. Brotherhood of the Noble Coat.
Brotherhood of the Noble Coat.
Brotherhood of the Noble Coat.
Who's going to get it next? Oh, maybe Marisi should have gotten it for his Tosca free program.
No, I liked the costume. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, okay. So moving on to Dima's free skate, it was to L'Immensità by Il Volo. Now, this is not a costume that I liked. I truly dislike this shirt.
Wait, why do you hate it so much?
Oh, I don't know. I don't like it. Like, did somebody... It looks like a stock photo of a figure 8 somebody did with a sparkler on New Year's Eve, and then they just slapped it on a blank shirt and called it a day.
Oh. I thought it looks kind of like a man Firebird costume.
But he's not skating to Firebird.
No, he's not. That is true.
The shirt looks like there should be like edgy rock music, just like Jimmy Ma, but it's not edgy rock music.
He is no Jimmy Ma. Dima is no Jimmy Ma.
No, but in this free program, to me, Dima looked off. Like, the landings all looked, like, really tight, and he had to save them. They were just rough. It wasn't a good skate for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially on the Lutz. He did manage to save it, but it was not rotated. I don't think it looked rotated fully. I do think that it is pretty good considering he started skating and competing late after, you know, he was injured in the season.
True.
And do you remember what he was like sitting on the ice at the end of the last season that he competed in? Do you remember what competition was that? But at the end of his free program, he was literally just like sitting on the ice, upset with himself in a black shirt. So I think
I've blocked that memory out.
It was very upsetting. I don't want to think about it anymore. But I think that this is a different Dima than the one upset on the ice in his black shirt. So
True.
yeah, hopefully we can only see improvement from here.
Yeah, he came 5th overall and was just behind Andrei Mozolyov, who came 2nd in the free skate. So, like, great job, Andrei. But let's move to the top 3. Let's start with our bronze medalist, and personally, my favorite young bean, Pyotr Goumennik. Now, his ISU bio hobbies make me love this boy even more.
Aw, wait.
His ISU bio hobbies are music, basketball, neurobiology, and biochemistry.
Whoa, Peter.
It goes from 0 to 60 really fast, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, this totally goes with something that I think about him. I think he reminds me of Jimmy Neutron.
Yes.
So he has like small energy, but big brain energy, which is totally the vibe of his ISU bio.
Small energy, but big brain.
Small, but big brain.
Speaking of people he reminds you of and reminds me of, I feel like he is very similar to, he gives me Shark Boy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl vibes.
Yes, he does.
And it's so great because it's like Taylor Lautner, and like we all love Taylor Lautner, right?
Who doesn't love Taylor Lautner? Taylor Swift doesn't love Taylor Lautner, if I'm answering that question.
Oh, hello 2000s. Okay, let's talk about Pyotr skating. His short program was to Moonlight Sonata, performed and arranged by Hidden Citizens. Okay, he opened with a gorgeous quad sow. Then he did a triple loops, triple loop, a la Anna Shcherbakova, a la Tutberidze Girls. And he has a gorgeous...
Oh, so easy, though. That Lutz loop combo, so easy.
So easy. And he has gorgeous spins. He, like that flying camel and donut spin, and then he goes into, y'all know what I mean. He does the little stretch thing. I don't know what it's exactly called. It's an upright variation. It's great. He scored a 96.26. Woohoo! Good on ya.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. I also noted, though, that he was wearing Brady's jumpsuit from her Florence and the Machine program. I was like, I've seen that jumpsuit, Pete. Small Pete, I've seen that somewhere.
What was not on Brady, though, and what really was the highlight of the men's event for me, was Pyotr's Phantom of the Opera and his Poto costume.
Oh my gosh, wait. I thought he kind of looked like both Dracula and a founding father at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but he did it.
I said that too in my notes. Yeah. Which founding father, though? Maybe he could have been in Hamilton. Maybe he can be in Russia's Hamilton.
Russia's Hamilton. Maybe all the okay, this is my theory, okay? Maybe all the founding fathers are like a different Halloween mascot. Ooh. So like there's Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, like a mummy, a pumpkin, you know, all of these Halloween friends are the founding fathers. I don't know who's the pumpkin.
John Adams.
John Adams.
Oh, I'm sorry, John Adams.
Sorry, John. Sorry, sir.
But I absolutely love his Phantom of the Opera free skate. He uses like the music pieces that you associate with the Broadway soundtrack more than your typical skating Phantom of the Opera program. So I really, really appreciate it. Also, my notes for him are in all capital letters. That's how I felt when he skated. And in capital letters, I also wrote, Pyotr, you do a quad sow, double toe, double loop, then fall on twizzles. Come on. And then he fell on his second quad sow, and I was like, no.
Yeah, Peter, what's up with that?
He did end up on the podium, so I'm very, very happy about that.
I love it. I loved both his short program and his free skate. I thought it was great. I think he was definitely one of the highlights of the event for me. I thought he was great.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's talk about our silver medalist, who I think surprised everybody this competition. I think he also surprised his coach, Eteri Tutberidze. It is Mr. Georgia himself, Maurice Kvetelashvili. Unfortunately, his ISU bio is kind of boring.
Oh.
It's movies, music, reading and dancing. Although the dancing bit's cool. Cool. And you know, I'll
accept it.
I'll accept it too. His short program was to Amsterdam by Jacques Brel, which was great.
Ugh.
I really, really enjoyed this
So
short.
good. Popped off. Maurice popped off.
And he didn't pop any jumps. Whoop, whoop.
No, he did not. He did not
didn't.
do that.
He did a quad sow triple toe. He did a triple axel. He did another quad toe. It was an
Beautiful.
excellent skate. And like 99.56, I thought it was well deserved. He was the winner of the short program. It was just a great skate for him.
It was. However, I'm not a huge fan of this costume. The red pant, blue
Neither am
shirt
I.
is very like kindergartners. Here are your primary colors. Like it was very much a primary colors lesson. However, I do love.
It was a
I
bold
do enjoy the
choice.
lace up front. It's very 2014 and also very Camden Polkanen. We love a Camden look.
Yeah, the pants were a bold choice.
Pants were a lot.
It was a lot. I felt like maybe he got the color palette and was just like, yeah, I'll go with that. But then his designer didn't specify which color would go on which item of clothing.
Yeah. It was a lot. I'm not sure that was the costume that I would have chosen. But, I mean, the skating was great. It's fine. He can wear
Yes, it
primary
was.
colors. Who am I to tell him he
That's
can't wear
fine.
primary colors?
He definitely went for a more muted color palette in his free skate, which was to Tosca. And he was the last skater of the night. And I feel like I'm not too sure whether if I was him, I'd put pressure on myself to snatch that gold or just skate cleanly.
Okay, so when he was skating, okay, I was watching the technical box on the TV. And this man ended with basically like a 93 for his TES,
Yeah.
okay? And the current leader was Mikhail Kolyada, who we'll talk about in a second. And he had 93.5. And I was like, men,
Yeah.
excuse me, boys, you're giving me a heart attack here. Like, I'm not going to survive this weekend if you do this.
It was
to
so
me.
tight.
But unfortunately, his score did go down to 88.74 from the 93 on the screen. But it was still a lot of anxiety. A lot of anxiety for me.
I know. I feel like given how Misha skated, he had to really skate lights out and skate cleanly to win. And unfortunately, he did fall on his quad toe. And okay, it's funny. So he's a Tutberidze boy. And we all know Tutberidze is, famous for the full blade assist on the jumps and cheated entrances. And this boy has the most full blade assist I have ever seen into his quad toe loops. Like, it honestly looks like a quad sow or quad whatever. It's just, it doesn't look like a toe loop. But he tried 2 quad toe loops. The first was in combination quad toe, double toe. He landed that. Then his second quad toe, it looked like he hit the toe pick more. And ironically, it's the one he fell on. And also, I feel like Maurice is the only person in the world, or like at least part of the very select few, who can under-rotate an Euler, a half loop. Maurice.
Please.
But yes, he definitely wasn't up there with Misha Kolyada's program components. That is pretty clear to everybody, I think.
Definitely.
But I still was just like holding out for a Georgia win for him, which would have been really cool. But nonetheless, he got a silver.
We could have had a Georgia win in the States and also at the Rostelecom Cup. But unfortunately, I guess fortunately, we only got one of those. We got the one that really matters here.
True, very true. I do have to mention though. So I keep forgetting that Maurici's coached by Eteri Tutberidze, Sergei Dudikov, and Danil Gleikengaus. And so when he started off his Tosca program and did the first opening steps, I was like, okay, now I remember who your coaches are, because the first opening steps should really just be called the Danil Gleikengaus. The whole step forward, go onto your toe picks, bend your knees, lean back, and just do the whole moment and, open up your arms. I swear Medvedeva had the exact same choreography in a program of hers, Danil. Yes, so he did get the silver medal, but our gold medal, well deserved, is Mikhail Kolyada, whose hobbies in his ISU bio is playing the guitar. The one and only playing the guitar.
playing the guitar. I feel like this is very much his energy. I feel like out of everyone, he would be the person that only lists one singular hobby in his ISU bio.
I know, but it's like playing the guitar. It's like it's at least like not like Jonathan Guerrero, who's just traveling. It's like I'll list one, but I'll give you multiple words. Playing the guitar. Anyway, his short program is to Let's Get Loud by the Baseballs.
Fave.
Fave. So good. But it wasn't such a great... It was probably the worst short program he's delivered this season. We're just saying, like, a lot, but which means, like, his previous performances were just so stellar. But his skating quality is so good. You can tell the difference between him and, you know, the field of skaters who were before him. Like, within the first glide he takes across the ice, you're just like... Whoa, you're on a different level.
Yeah, my favorite part of this program is when he tugs on his collar right before the entry to the quad toe. I'm like, ugh, I love this. But then there was the quad toe, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he added that collar pop in like Russian Cup. I think it was a Russian Cup 3 or 4. I think it might have been 3. And he just like added that little collar pop. And I was just like, ooh.
Oh, I love it.
Misha, you're getting fancy.
I love it.
Yeah, but he had a great triple axel in the short program, and he saved the triple Lutz triple toe landing, so it wasn't the best skate from him.
No.
But he definitely turned it on for his free program, which was to Nureyev from the White Crow soundtrack. It was... Okay, there were 2 things. One was the popped axle, the single axle. The second one was the triple Lutz Euler double Salchow instead of the triple. Otherwise, the rest was perfection.
Oh my gosh. Okay, literally, this is my favorite free skate of his of all time. Okay, number 1. But also, after he popped the axle, he then went on to, okay, old Misha would literally be like totally looking forlorn,
he'd capitulate,
disgruntled, panicked. He would be very upset had he popped that axle, okay? But new Misha, Let's Get Loud Misha, instead, where he planned the flip in his free skate, he put the triple axle back there and he nailed it. I was like, this is new Misha. This is not old Misha. This is new Misha.
King. The audacity. Thank you, Misha.
Oh my gosh.
For having that growth. You know?
This is growth.
For having that
This
growth.
is the character arc we like to see. This is like...
Exactly. We're so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, we are so proud of you. This is like those graphics on mental health Instagram that has those like little hand-drawn stickers, and one of them says like, I wasn't too hard on myself today. He needs one of those. I'll give one to him.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I think I'm so happy with Misha. Like, you could tell in his short program that he was like deeply unhappy with how he skated, and he definitely did. I feel like you could see a flicker across his eyes going like, ugh, this sucks, when he popped his axle and made a few mistakes. But then he's just like, nope, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna chuck that extra triple axle in, like, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And he was gorgeous.
I love it.
He was so gorgeous.
Love it.
And deserved winner, because that free skate was
so nice.
It was so beautiful.
By far the best free skate he's ever had.
Oh, yes. So good.
I mean, not this particular free skate, but like the program. I'm talking about the program. It's so good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely on brand, definitely in character. Congratulations, Misha, on your Rostelecom Cup win.
Yes.
Okay, I think we're going to end here for men and ice dance, because otherwise we could talk about this for ages, and we still got ladies and pairs to record. But let's go into a little quick kiss and cry.
All right, so for the book this week, we obviously had to choose a book inspired by our favorite founding father, Pyotr Goumenik, and also his Phantom of the Opera free skate. And the book that we chose has some parallels to kind of like the general feel to Phantom, and this author is definitely a Phantom fan because there are references that anyone who knows Phantom will understand. This book is called Winter Song by S.J. Jones. J is spelled J-A-E. And this is a gothic fantasy novel set in 1800s in Germany. Our protagonist, Liesel, her sister is kidnapped by the Goblin King, and Liesel makes it her mission to rescue her. She's lured into the Goblin King's dwelling and becomes more and more enveloped into his life and world as her journey goes on. Because Liesl is a composer, the whole book basically revolves around music. There are some gorgeous descriptions of music. Eventually, a romance begins. I'm not going to tell you between who, but you can probably guess. And the combination of the music descriptions and the romantic passages are literally the perfect formula for the writing of this book. If you are a Phantom of the Opera fan, I am pretty sure you'll love this book. Again, it is called Winter Song by S.J. Jones.
Yes, we definitely wanted to do a book inspired by the lovely costume to Phantom of the Opera that our little Piotr Goumennik wore. So yeah, that's our book for the week, and we're gonna wrap this up real quick because we've got more episodes coming your way. So yep, that is it for us for episode 8. I'm Claudia, and come chat with us at Lutz Get Down Pod, that's Lutz Get Down Pod, on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to work with us, shoot us an email at lutzgetdownpod@gmail.com.
If you like this podcast and also want to be a part of Lightning McQueen's Pit Crew, please give us some 5-star love on any of your podcasting platforms. We would really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for listening. We will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.